Welcome to March, and I'm going to do the same thing I started last month, which was to kind of read through or recap my monthly newsletter that I send out. So I send out a monthly email newsletter, and I also post it to social media, but it's just got like a smattering of things and updates and life stuff, a lot more business stuff that might be helpful to you. So I'm just going to read through some of it, or really just recap you. And also I'll share some pictures here, like so you can see what I'm talking about. And sometimes it's nice because not everybody gets my email newsletter, and sometimes you can just listen to this and it's helpful. And I keep saying I want to start a podcast, and this would be the perfect type of content to put on a podcast. And here I am, like still sitting on that, waiting, unsure. It's just so much easier for me to do a video like this and post it to YouTube because I know how. It's comfortable for me. So I'm going to stick with that for now, but it's still in my mind. And I say that at the end of the newsletter, as I have for the past like 6 months. Anyway, let's get to it. So March, here we are. February kind of flew by, unlike January. That was like the longest year ever. January was, right? February kind of flew by. And what was the highlight of February was actually personally taking a vacation just on a whim. So I went out to Joshua Tree for a weekend just for fun. That's in California. And it's like you're in a whole new world. I had never been there before. I thought it was so cool. Just a weekend to find the sun. And then I came back and it was awesome. And another highlight from that was within the trip, in the sand, I found this necklace. Actually, I didn't find it. The person I was with found this necklace. It is like a little, can you see it? It's like a little teardrop necklace with a diamond in it. And it's definitely good quality because it just seems as such, and it has the markings of high quality. It was like buried in the sand. So there's no way I could really return it to whoever lost it. So what I found though, and what I thought was interesting, and I didn't put this in the newsletter, was I was looking up what teardrop jewelry meant, or like trying to look up where this came from. And it said that many spiritual beliefs associated the teardrop, that's the shape of this necklace, the shape with spiritual growth, transformation, and rebirth. Wearing teardrop jewelry can serve as a talisman, guiding the wearer on the spiritual journey and symbolizing a new chapter of personal growth. And boy, oh boy, do I feel like I'm in that chapter, but that is not what this newsletter is about. That's a whole personal thing I'm not going to dive into, but I thought that was interesting. So now let's get into the updates as far as like the business and what's going on. And in my newsletter, the first thing I always share is my yoga class schedule. I teach Monday through Thursday, 6 a.m. Pacific time on Zoom. It's morning movement and meditation. These are recorded and put into a video library, but if you want to join live, it is free. And this morning I had someone join because they saw it in my newsletter and they said, if it's free, it's for me. I'm like, great. And I don't expect payment in it at all. It is not something I even suggest. It's just an option because I've had people reach out wanting to pay. So it is free. I don't even check registrations. I don't check how much someone has given. It does not matter. I will treat you the same, and we're gonna do our morning practice together. So that is every weekday. Okay, Monday through Thursday. I found that the 4 days a week really helps keep me in balance and keeps me from burning out. And I've been able to keep up with that for as long as I can. Occasionally, if my internet or power goes out, that is the only way or an only reason why I wouldn't show up if I haven't pre-canceled for whatever reason. But that happened last week as well, where I did have a internet outage because of strong winds, and I couldn't even get on my phone to send an email because I live in a dead zone. So if that happens, just so you know, it is probably an internet outage. Beyond that, I talk about the membership that I have if you want the replays. And also I teach people to build memberships. So if that is of interest to you, I do that inside my programs. I have some free offerings available for those who want to build an online yoga membership or a wellness membership, on-demand video library. That is what I absolutely love teaching people and sharing with them the step-by-step and how to get started and how to make it profitable and amazing. So I've got some information in there as well. And if you want to read this whole newsletter, feel free to click on the link that I'm sharing in the description of this video, because then you'll actually be able to just go through it. It is public. It's like a blog post pretty much. Next up, the main thing, I should have just led with this because this is the number one thing I want to share with everybody, is next week I am hosting a 5-day website bootcamp. It's called Website Warrior Bootcamp, which means that we're going to dive deep in this 5-day challenge to get your website going. If you're like, where do I even start with online? Do I need a website? What's the point? Can't I just use social media? Join this boot camp because I'm going to be explaining all the things, and it might set you on the path to building this amazing, fabulous website, or you might realize, I don't need that, and that's great. So the more knowledge and information you can have makes it less scary. In fact, that's what I really want to share too, is that when you feel fear around something, it's usually not fear because you think you're going to die. That's one kind of fear. When it's techie stuff, it's usually fear of the unknown. You don't know enough. You don't even know what questions to ask. In fact, I've been going on this kind of spiritual journey, and I didn't really know what to ask. So I started with a podcast and then an audiobook, and I just started educating myself and figuring out which questions I do need to ask that can help me in the future. And so if online teaching, website building, or any of that is scary or frustrating to you, then go ahead and join Website Warrior Bootcamp. I've done all the branding. I got the pages ready. There's an 18-minute video you have to watch prior to starting next week. I have a whole workbook for you that I made that can be so helpful if that's all you sign up for. So the workbook is on the thank you page you'll get after you sign up. That's at ashesyoga.com/WWB. And you're gonna hear me talking about that for the next week or so. Actually, a couple weeks because it starts next week. All right, next up, I do mention about Offering Tree, and because I talk about it a lot, it's a software that's really great for yoga teachers. Do you need to use it to work with me or be in the website bootcamp? No, no. I mention it as an option because sometimes it's nice to take the guesswork out and just go with something. But also, I use a lot of other programs, a lot of other softwares. I don't use Offering Tree for everything and the only thing in my business. I have a lot of things that I use, and I have a lot of recommendations that I don't use that might be good for you. So I'm always looking for resources and recommendations for you and your needs, not based on what I have experienced necessarily. I can share my experience, but you may need something else. And I am happy to share other people, other resources, and recommendations at any time. Anytime I work with someone, that is always the case. Next up, I shared a blog post from Offering Tree. It's hosted on Offering Tree's site. Somebody else wrote it. It was just a spotlight blog post, but it talks about email marketing versus social media. And that's perfect because with me talking about websites, it also ties in with email marketing being one of the best and tried and true ways to market your business and to build your business. And if you don't have an email list, you really don't have a business. Even if you have millions of followers online on social media, that doesn't quite translate to a business. And this blog post kind of shares why that is and gives you some pros and cons to both. All right, next up, I mentioned once again the membership starter kit. Last month, or just at the end of January, I had shared a webinar about building an online membership on demand, and then I shared this really amazing free resource, which was a bundle of content and a bundle of examples that will help you to start your online membership or on-demand library. All right, so if you didn't grab that, it is still available, and I have a link to do that. And then I talk about microphones again. I put a new picture up in the newsletter. Microphones, my favorite, it's still the Rode Wireless Micro. Yes, that's what I'm using right here. It is plugged in directly to my computer. But wait, I didn't mention in the, did I mention? Yes, in the newsletter I did mention this. This one is the other, I have two, right? I've got one that is USB-C that I plugged into my computer. This one you plug in with a lightning cable. It's for my iPhone. And I thought it didn't work with my computer, but if you get the official Apple adapter, it works with your computer. So you don't need both of them. They're either 100, if you go to Amazon, it's like 133. If you go to the actual website, which I recommend, it's 150 for these guys. This official Apple adapter though, It's not cheap. Like a lot of cables and cords are really cheap. This one's $29 on Amazon or $30 if you go to Target like I did and buy it at Target. But it's about $30. And so if you want to use the iPhone Lightning cable one and use it with your computer, you'd plug this piece into your computer, get the official Apple cable, and it's gonna work. I had purchased a off-brand style and it did not work. And it might be something dealing with the fact that this is not just a regular USB-C. The input is it's called like a lightning. It's not this one. This is called like a lightning port or something, a USB-C lightning port. So something different about it, but it is the lightning to USB-C. And again, about $30, but you can plug this into your computer and then use this as your microphone. And there's 2 microphones, so you'd only need to use one. So that's really neat. And the other thing I realized about this is that if you do want to change the volume or the gain, meaning how loud you sound into it, you can do that with the Rode Central app on your computer or on your phone. You just have to plug it in and you can change the settings. Super cool. Okay, that's it. And if you want to learn more about Rode microphones, they're my favorite. Go to ashesyoga.com/RODE, and it's going to be my affiliate link to the Rode website. I'll also leave some links to some of these on Amazon as well, if that's easier for you. I always add in now my membership announcements. So Ashes Academy is my online membership where I work with yoga teachers to build their businesses. I share that with them all the behind the scenes and the ins and outs. We do weekly coaching calls and all sorts of amazing things. And last month I was very excited because we welcomed 16 new members. That is up from the month before where I welcomed 9. So 16 means we are increasing our members, and not too much either. We have Michael, Jelena, Jessica, Aaron, Misty, Kim, Julie, Pixie, Shannon, Angela, Rachel, Alex, Rose, Garrett, Kelly, and Vicky. So welcome in to all of you. I do offer a 15-minute welcome call if you just need a little bit of a quick, where do I start? But also we have 2 to 3 weekly calls, coaching calls that are usually really small groups that we get together and you can chat and work through things at any point. So we have a lot of resources inside that. And I have a link to join the membership, but I wouldn't recommend joining the membership right from that link. If you watch my webinar to grow your yoga business from studio to screen, you get a special invite at a discounted rate. So that's there as well. Those are 2 things I usually add to my newsletters all the time, is my ongoing webinar and just some updates and welcome to the people who joined my membership. And that's it. And at the end, I do say, there's a podcast I'm still trying to start. Life is busy and doing new things, like I said, is a little bit scary sometimes. And scary meaning it feels unknown. It's probably easier than you think, but as long as you take a little time and research or educate yourself around the topic that's starting to scare you or feeling overwhelming, then it's something that is totally manageable. And a podcast is kind of feeling like that for me. I still say I really want to create one. I love talking and I love getting on videos like this, even if it's 15, 20, maybe 30 minutes of talking. I would also love to interview people. But my podcast name, it's going to be Rise with Ashes. I think that's cute. My whole business is Ashes Yoga, and it's not just because my name is Ashley and Ashes just sounds good. It's actually, the whole background of that business name comes from resiliency and rising from the ashes like a phoenix. We've been torn down and you come back stronger. So that's the concept of my business and the brand that I'm trying to emulate. Although I don't have a very fiery branding, it's not red or orange or flame-like. Mine is very seafoam green and blues and very calming, but doesn't matter. It's all worked out. There's also a link to book a discovery call with me. I do have discovery calls as an option if you want to get on for 30 minutes and wondering where the best next steps would be for you. You can do that. So that is the March newsletter. Lots of good things, lots of things I shared here that aren't necessarily written in the newsletter, which makes it more fun for me to get on video because I can go on tangents and I can talk about a few things that maybe I didn't write down because it comes off differently when you're talking in person. And then I can just kind of feel like I'm talking to a friend. And that's it. And so to check out the newsletter or any of the links, just click on the link in the description and we'll take you to the post, I guess, through my email system, and you can see it there.